So today we're going to target our abs. And as we know by now, we don't need to do a warm-up per se. We can just dive straight in because technically we're working our core, we're working our abs right now as we speak. Well, I am. Right now you could be sitting down at this stage. For me, because I'm standing up, I'm still working my abs. That's keeping us upright. Now, unless you're sitting on a chair with support, not so much. But if you're standing for most of the day, you're hitting your abs, you're hitting your core. Yeah, it mightn't be to the same extent that we're hitting it now because we're targeting it now. But yeah, we're going to dive straight in. We got 15 seconds, 6 exercises. I don't know why I put 4 fingers. We got 6 exercises. That was harder than I thought. Brain's not working today. But you're going to start on your back. We're going to start with a hollow hold. Okay, so everything's pretty much done from the floor today. So starting off with your hollow holds, you're going to start as if you're about to do a dead bug. So hands up to the sky, legs at 90 degrees, extend the legs, lift the shoulder blades, and we're going to hold there. So now the more you bring your legs down, the harder it's going to get. Now you can start from here, having your legs pretty much straight up, but make sure from your hip, knee, and ankle is as straight as possible. Now, you might find that the hardest part is actually keeping the shoulder blades up in the air. Just concentrate on kind of pushing the lower back down, rounding that back as much as possible. Now, our job here is to keep our lower back down. And as if our lower back pops up, well, we're stretching our abs, we're not working it, we're going to load the lower back, which we don't want to do. So bringing the feet down a little bit lower is going to make it harder. So 2 and 1. We're going to roll over, and we have a low plank. So 2 elbows, stay stationary, we don't move at all. Going in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So I kind of put these back to back because they're quite similar exercises. One's lying on your back, one's on your stomach. Well, one's in pronation, which is being prone, which is stomach down to the floor. The other one's supine. If we're getting technical about it, that's on your back. Okay, so very similar exercises. One thing for your low plank to make sure is you're not dropping your hips way too low down here. I'm not even going to demo it because it's going to load up my lower back, and my lower back's not ready for it. Okay, so don't have it down here. I will feel my lower back. If you don't feel your abs, your hips are probably too low. So you want to lift the hips up a little bit higher, and you're going to rest right now. So flip it over again. We're going to go into our hollow hold, and we're looking at 3 rounds of these 2. So lift the shoulder blades, legs straight. And if you're like, yeah, this isn't too bad, I can do this. Right, let's try step it up a little bit, but we're only going a little bit at a time. So I'm going to start pushing my knees away from me. So now if you look from side on, my knees are slowly going over my hips and going past my hips. And that's when it becomes a different story, okay? So keeping the hands straight up. Everything that we do is trying to make us pop that lower back up. That's what our body wants to do. Our job is to keep it down. So let the legs come down, and if you feel your lower back about to come up, stop right there. You might even bring it back a little bit just to keep it there. But we can go as low down as an inch off the floor and hold it from there. You're going to rest. We have a low plank. So these 2 are designed to work against each other or work with each other, whatever way you want to see it. So let's lift up into a low plank and tire out your abs. And yes, they are quite boring because it's an iso hold. And as we know by now, an iso hold is a movement. I wouldn't even call it a movement. It's a position or an exercise that we work our muscles without moving our joints. So we're not going to up and down. We're not going side to side. You're staying in one complete place at a time, like your wall, like anything else that we do. So don't have your hips too low, but also don't have your hips up in the air like a mountain, okay? Bring them down so they're just above our shoulder height. So 3, 2, 1. Drop it there. We're going to have one more round. And something's coming off. I think that's off the mic. Yeah, no, I think we're all good. Right, hollow hold. Last time, lift the shoulder blades off first. That is your first thing on the checklist. If you do find your head getting heavy, put your hands behind your head. Go back up, extend the legs. And if you can bring your legs down to here, perfect. My God, this is a killer. Oh, and I actually feel right there. It's one of those days where I'm struggling. I wasn't, I'm not coming into this session going, yeah, let's go. It's not going to be the easiest thing. It's been a long day. And sometimes we all have our long days. There's no doubt about that. And some of the times stay in that position. Some of the times we struggle a little bit more than usual. rest there. So roll over into a low plank. And yeah, sometimes you have your bad days where you're just not feeling it today. But look, it's 15 minutes, let's get it done. Low plank, let's go. So if you are in the same position or same boat as me, just get the head down and work. Might be the most enjoyable, but we'll get it done quick. We'll get your work in. And we'll get you leaving here feeling a little bit happier. Or you might just hate me so much and you might be angry. Hopefully not the latter. We're over halfway. Focus on the breathing. Into the nose, out to the mouth. So we're going to roll onto our back on the next one. We have core rows. We've got 10 seconds. I can feel my abs just burning up at this stage. I wouldn't be surprised if there's smoke coming from them. So 3, 2, 1. Right, there's not enough time to rest properly, so roll onto your back. You got your core rows, so now we're bringing in a bit of movement into it. So, lying on your back, legs straight, you're going to sit up onto your bum, knees are going to come in, and then your back out. So the way I like to describe it is, think of the musical instrument an accordion. Comes in together, it goes out together. So, sit up, so knees are coming in as you sit up, so it's in together, and then we come back out. And then after this exercise, we're into another difficult exercise called the V sit-up. Very similar, where our upper body and our lower body start moving. Same position, lying on our back. But we got another 5 seconds. That means at least another rep here. So 2, we'll get another one in. And rest there. So V sit-up, it's going to kill me. But hands above the head, we're going to try and have a long lever, coming up, legs up as well, and then you're back down. So make sure your upper body comes up. We're going into it now. So make sure your upper body comes up a little bit before your legs, because your legs can follow. Your legs can come late. Because if we bring our legs up first, well, I'm just automatically blocking myself right here. I can't physically get my upper body up. So use your hands. You're kind of swinging for momentum as well if you need to. Sometimes you can overshoot it if you get too much momentum. And that's a good way of knowing. So if you got too much momentum, you're going to go forward and you're going to go leg heavy. You're going to put all the force and all the weight over the legs, but you want to come back down the same time. Now, there is a rhythm to it. There's an act. And relax. So don't worry if you don't get the first set spot on. It'll take time, but you'll get there. So 2, 1, core rows, hands out in front. We're not swinging for momentum in this one. We're keeping it strict. Yeah, this one's a toughie. But we're coming up to the halfway point. Actually, when we get through this exercise right now, in 22 seconds, that is going to be our halfway point of today. So it has kind of flown past. And you know, when my voice changes, I'm struggling. But I won't be the only one. We're still getting it done, still getting good, high quality reps in. Remember, it's all about quality reps, even if we're feeling a little bit off. So you can rest there. Just because we're having a bad day doesn't mean our quality is sacrificed. The workload may decrease. Let's go. V sit-ups. But the quality never suffers. Oh. Woo. Just make sure this is still plugged in. It is. I won't lie, it's probably the most annoying thing to have attached to you. Every which way you roll, it just catches. Keep going. Nice soft landing. The soft landing is tricky. It forces you to work a little bit harder for a little bit longer. That ensures you get really good rep in. And 2 and 1. I got one more round. One more round to go. And then we intro 2 new exercises. And that'll be the last block. So 2, 1, knees in, and then we're back out. So we're kind of hitting upper and lower abs with these 2. So the way we put it and designed the session for today, we're kind of hitting the same spot twice, back to back. So whatever way you want to look at it, they're working together or they're working against each other. Either is quite fitting. So they're very similar, all these 6 exercises. For 5, 3, 2, and 1. 10 seconds, we're back into our V sit-ups, and then we're on to our last block, just like that. So I'm going to adjust myself, slide it down the mat a little bit. Here we go. So with the next two, we're going to go into a thing called figure eights. So think of the number 8, think of the shape of it. Turn that on its side as if you just kind of push it over and it falls. And now instead of that number being vertical, it's horizontal. Okay, so you're looking at a sidewards 8. Sideways, 8. Fatigue is definitely setting in. 3, 2, and 1. That rep was terrible, I'm not going to lie. So, sideways figure 8. It's quite low. The lower that number 8 is, the harder it is. The higher it is, the easier. So, we're going to follow that line as if you're drawing the figure 8. Perfect time for a bit of a hip cramp, and it also kind of feels like it needs to just crack or pop. So, have the legs off. You can have them up nice and high to start. Straighten them, and you're just going to draw a figure 8. Now, don't go too wide, otherwise we're going to start lifting our hip off the ground. So 2 hips down, follow that figure 8. Okay, so we're going to keep going, and then you can gradually lower it the more comfortable you get with it. But remember, you're not going too wide. So 3, 2, 1. Sorry. Right, sky reachers next. So rest there. You're going to have feet flat on the floor, hands above the head. You're going to sit up and you're going to try and reach up to the sky. So this can be a tricky one. You can always pin your feet underneath your couch if you struggle with this one. But for this one, the big focus is, and it's normally the part that's overlooked, is the way back down. So coming up, it's hard, yes, but the harder part is slowly bringing yourself down, keeping that back rounded the whole time. And it's called the sky reacher because when you get to the top, you're reaching for the sky. Now you can make it harder if you wanted, which makes it a hell of a lot harder. Keep the arms long overhead and rest there. Whew, right, 2 more rounds. Let's get it done. We're emptying the tank. Getting ready to go with the figure 8s. Hands out to the side. Use that support. Lower back drilled into that floor. Do not let the lower back pop up. Otherwise, you're not doing the exercise, okay? It's as blunt as that. And then you're going with your figure 8. You can reverse it. You can go the other direction. But in terms of width, if you kind of look straight down, you're only letting one foot go outside that hip width, okay? So if the other foot goes, we're going to tend to lift that hip off, and it's going to be pointless, and we're just going to throw everything else in the bin. So nice and low, keeping that lower back down. 3, 2, 1. Oh, God. I hate myself sometimes. Whew, where are we at? 2.5 to go. So 3, 2, 1. Right. Sometimes you may need to adjust your feet. I find the first rep with sky reaches isn't always my smoothest. It's normally like a range finder because sometimes I set my feet too close to my bum, and as I sit up I just either block myself or my feet will come straight up in the air because there's actually no range of motion there. Slowly down, keep the back rounded, so when you come back down, it's like the butterfly crunches. It's lower back, middle back, upper back, head. And then it's off in the reverse manner. So 2, we'll get another rep in, and we'll come down. Figure 8s, 1 last time, let's get it done. 40 seconds, 2, 1. Sometimes it's better not even to look and just trust you're doing the figure 8. If your lower back does pop up by any chance, just reset, pick the legs back up, get the lower back down, start the legs high and bring them down to that point. This is great for the lower abs, and because we're going to the side, it's going to hit the obliques. Oh my God. So 8 seconds, let's keep going, try not to take any more rests. Yes, that includes myself. 2, 1. Oh, that was a killer, that set. All right, so I've learnt my lesson with the sky reachers. Don't start too close. Last 40 seconds will work. 3, 2, 1. There we go. And if you're someone who has good shoulder mobility, there should be no problem to get your hands straight up overhead. For me, and no doubt I'm not the only one, because I have, let's say, modified shoulder, a bit of hardware in the shoulder, I'm never going to have that full range of motion, no matter how much work I do on it. So my hands don't actually go straight up vertical. So that's why if you're wondering, am I just normally trying to keep my hands going forward? No, I do want my hands straight up to the sky, as if you're trying to reach up as high as you can. So one more rep, and slowly come down. Oh my God. There you have it. That's 15 minutes done and dusted. Great work. Great news also. Like not having a warm-up, you don't really have a cool down. So that's you guys finished. Nice work. We'll see you next time. And I'm just going to stay here for a few seconds. I felt that one.